Chapter 811. Sensing an air of hostility, Orissa looked over her shoulder and caught a glimpse of Rosetta turning away to entertain her guests. Benjamin, who noticed her reaction, asked, "What are you looking at?" Throwing him a glance, she inquired softly, "Why did you really bring me here?" Benjamin's eyes darkened. "For the delicious feast, of course." Orissa, mouth twitching, scoffed, "Do I look like I'm desperate for food?" Curling his lips slightly, Benjamin whispered into her ear, "Of course not, but I still want to bring you here." Flattered by his words, Orissa turned to look him in the eye. "Did you bring me here to show me off to Rosetta?" Benjamin cocked his brow. "That's part of the reason too." Faced with his honesty, the niggling she felt at the back of her mind gradually disappeared. "What else? I also plan to show Mrs. Graham off to the many familiar faces here," Benjamin suggested in a gentle tone as he wrapped his arm around her waist. At the same time, he swept a threatening gaze around when he noticed the curious looks that had fallen upon Orissa. Consequently, Orissa's lips couldn't help but widen broadly. "Is Benjamin implicitly declaring our status? Are you happy now?" Benjamin gave her a passionate stare, causing her to clear her throat awkwardly. "I'm all right." An amused glint flashed across Benjamin's eyes. "Benjamin." Aaron came over and greeted them with a smile. Turning around to look at the groom, Benjamin got to his feet and remarked, "Congratulations on your wedding." Aaron burst into hearty laughter. "Where's my present?" "It will be arriving soon." Benjamin reassured him. "Aaron, I'm sure no one is as shameless as you to ask for your own wedding gift. Besides, it's not like you're not aware of how busy Benjamin is. Where would he find the time to get you a present?" Kingsley teased from his chair. "How am I going to get it if I don't ask for it?" Aaron had barely responded with a grin when he was briefly stunned by the sight of the unfamiliar face sitting beside Benjamin. "And who might this be?" "Let me introduce you." When Kingsley pointed to Orissa, he noticed the glare shot at him by Benjamin, who then introduced her himself. "This is my fiancée." Aaron, together with Orissa, were stunned. Kingsley, Sean, and Jonathan were all equally flabbergasted but quickly curled their lips into a smile. What a way for Benjamin to introduce her. This was the first time they saw him acknowledge any woman's relationship to him, and it was indeed a sight to behold. "Hello, I'm Orissa York." Orissa got to her feet and wished the groom, "Congratulations on your wedding." Given that she had come for the food and so hadn't brought a gift, she couldn't help but feel embarrassed about it. "Thank you. I'm Aaron Adams. I'm glad that you could make it," Aaron responded cordially, to which Orissa nodded. Glancing in Benjamin's direction, Aaron decided against saying what was on his mind. He subsequently took his leave after entertaining them briefly. "Please enjoy yourselves. I have to go get ready as the wedding is about to begin." "Okay." Benjamin nodded. As Kingsley and Sean were part of the groom's entourage, they, too, went off to prepare themselves. "Orissa, please enjoy yourselves. We'll be going off for a bit." Both of them took their leave from Orissa before leaving the table. "All right," Orissa replied in acknowledgement as her eyes scanned the surroundings. When her eyes met with Rosetta's, the latter averted her gaze in disdain. Nonetheless, Orissa simply chuckled and took a sip of water. Noticing the exchange between the ladies, Benjamin looked over and saw Rosetta staring daggers at Orissa. He narrowed his eyes in warning. When Rosetta suddenly met Benjamin's piercing gaze, her heart twinged in pain. At the look in it, gritting her teeth, she turned away in dismay. "Rosetta," Margaret prodded her daughter when she noticed the latter losing her composure. "Mom, why did Benjamin bring a woman here to spite me?" Margaret looked over to Benjamin's table before returning her attention to her daughter. "When a man brings a woman to a friend's wedding, what other reason is there?" Rosetta felt a jolt through her body. "But I still love him. How could he?" Margaret's heart ached as she saw how indignant her daughter felt. "Benjamin isn't any ordinary man. During your time overseas, he would have surely contacted you if he had any feelings for you. Anyway, don't forget to mind your behavior as a daughter of the Addams family." Chapter 812. Meanwhile, Benjamin picked up an orange and began to peel it. As his slender fingers did it effortlessly, Orissa was mesmerized just by looking at them. Here, once Benjamin was done, he hand-fed her a piece. A warm feeling gushed through her, and she lowered her head to take the fruit into her mouth. Is it sweet? Benjamin tilted his head at her. Covering her mouth, Orissa answered, it's sweet and sour at the same time. After giving her a look, Benjamin ate a piece himself. In an instant, his eyebrows furrowed. It's so sour. Why did you say that it's sweet? Orissa threw him a look of surprise. I thought it was sweet. Watching the lovebirds whisper sweet nothings to each other, Jonathan beamed. Benjamin, where's Gavin and the others? They're at home, Benjamin replied softly after glancing at Jonathan. Jonathan nodded. After this, I'll drop by your place to play with them. It's been a long time since I saw them. Mr. Patterson, you must have been really busy, Orissa teased. I just have a few cases crammed together recently. Usually, it's not that bad. With a cheeky smile, Jonathan inquired, when is your wedding going to be? Orissa was instantly embarrassed. With his arm around Orissa's waist, Benjamin quipped, you should start preparing our wedding gift. Coincidentally, Rosetta came over and was overwhelmed by jealousy upon hearing the exchange. Benjamin, come sit with us. My brother has arranged a seat for you at the main table. As a glint flashed across Benjamin's eyes, all he gave her was an expressionless stare. Since I'm not family, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to sit there. I'll just remain here with the guys. Thank you, Miss Adams. Turning his back toward Rosetta, Benjamin paid no further heed to her. Benjamin, Rosetta looked at him with a pained expression. At the same time, Orissa sat quietly and munched on the snacks on the table. And who might this be? Noticing Benjamin's lack of response, Orissa was too shy to introduce herself. Hence, she simply pretended to not have heard the question. After glancing at the two of them, Jonathan answered Rosetta politely, she's Benjamin's fiancée. As she clenched her dress in reflex, the smile on Rosetta's face faded slightly. As that's so, only then did Orissa turn around and give Rosetta a small nod. Hello. Rosetta was caught off guard for a fleeting moment before she responded through gritted teeth, hello to you too. As she stared intently at Benjamin, all she saw was him engrossed in deshelling some pistachios for Orissa. Come have more of these. When Benjamin fed Orissa some, she had no choice but to oblige. As for the rest of the nuts, they were left on the small plate in front of her. Rosetta, being left to stand there awkwardly, entertained some of the other guests at the table before returning to her own. Finally, the wedding ceremony started and was a romantic affair which Orissa watched from beginning till end. Benjamin leaned over. What do you think? She turned toward him. Looking deeply into her eyes, he gestured at the bride and groom at the main table. What do you think of the wedding? She broke into an immediate smile. It's really romantic. Benjamin watched her for a moment longer before straightening in his seat. Orissa snuck a glance at him. Why is he asking me that? Scooting closer to Benjamin, Jonathan asked with a smile, are you using this wedding as a reference? As Benjamin gave him the side eye, Jonathan was amused. If Benjamin is to get married, it will definitely be the wedding of the century. Soon, the dishes arrived at the table one by one. Sean and Kingsley also returned to their table. Orissa, are you enjoying yourself? Kingsley gave her a mischievous look. Orissa nodded. I am. Why? Nothing. I was just asking. Kingsley then let out a snicker, which elicited a warning from Benjamin. As he served Orissa some food, he uttered, time to eat. Yeah. Orissa nodded before digging in and paying no heed to everything else. Meanwhile, plenty of guests would come over to exchange pleasantries when they saw Benjamin, Jonathan, Sean, and Kingsley. Even then, she wasn't required to entertain alongside them. Finally, when Aaron and the bride came over to their table to propose a toast, Benjamin made sure she only drank juice instead of wine. As a result, Kingsley, Sean, and Jonathan teased him repeatedly over it. Chapter 813. Let's give Orissa a toast and see how much Benjamin can drink on her behalf, Kingsley urged everyone. When Benjamin shot them a look, they let out a loud guffaw. Orissa, no matter what, you have to at least drink one glass with us. Despite knowing you for such a long time, we've never managed to have one with you. Kingsley got to his feet and poured Orissa a glass. She smiled. I can't drink much. Just a sip is good enough, Sean replied with a grin. Jonathan, too, approached with his glass raised for a toast. Orissa, let's drink. Okay. Orissa had barely lifted her wine glass when a hand reached out to take it from her. It was then that Benjamin switched it with a glass of orange juice. You're not allowed to drink, as you still need to take your medication later. Benjamin proceeded to warn everyone, she's taking medication to supplement her health, so she can't have any alcohol. Kingsley and Jonathan gave both of them a look before turning their attention to Sean. The latter responded with a smile, Orissa is indeed on medication right now. Let's just drink among ourselves. That won't do. Since Orissa can't drink, Benjamin should do so on her behalf. To everyone's amusement, Kingsley flashed a cheeky smile at Benjamin. Fine, I'll do it. Raising the wineglass toward Jonathan, Benjamin downed it in one gulp. Are both of you drinking? Benjamin's piercing gaze swept across Kingsley and Sean. Yes, of course we are. Since you have drunk with Jonathan, you're not going to pass us over, are you? Kingsley let out a snort before refilling Benjamin's wineglass and drinking with him. I want to drink 3 glasses with Orissa. While Benjamin glared at Kingsley, the amused Sean and Jonathan admired the latter for his courage. Hurry up. Kingsley leaned forward and clinked glasses with Benjamin, who harumphed before downing the drink. Sean. Benjamin then drank one more with Sean right away. Benjamin, that's not the way. Kingsley teased with a mischievous tone. Benjamin, with a darkening gaze, warned him in a deep voice. Kingsley, are you trying to get on my nerves? Kingsley chuckled in response, his eyes curving into crescents. It's rare to be able to gather like this. After giving them a look, Orissa said to Kingsley, he has a weak stomach, so it's not a good idea for him to drink too much. Besides, this is someone else's wedding. It would be rude to drink too much till they're inebriated. Look at how much Orissa cares about you. Kingsley beamed till his eyes couldn't be seen. We'll take Orissa's advice and not go down this path with you. Benjamin's lips curled as he gave Orissa a look. Leaning closer to her, he whispered, they're no match for me when it comes to drinking. Orissa giggled as she whispered back, even then, you shouldn't drink too much. At that moment, Rosetta arrived with a glass of wine. Thank you for coming to my brother's wedding. You're welcome, Miss Adams. Kingsley laughed boisterously as he clinked glasses with her. When Rosetta walked over to clink glasses with Sean, Kingsley stopped her. Hey, that's not right. No matter what, you're still the host today. Since your brother isn't free to drink with us, you should represent him by having a drink with every single one of us. Placed in a difficult position, Rosetta looked instinctively toward Benjamin. However, Benjamin's attention fell upon Kingsley instead. You can make an exception for Issa and me. His words caused Rosetta's face to lose all color. Does he not want to even drink with me? Benjamin. Benjamin turned toward her, his eyes emotionless. Miss Adams, it would be more appropriate for you to address me as Mr. Graham. An awkward expression flashed across Rosetta's face. Benjamin, why are you being so distant? Are you trying to spite me on purpose? A frosty look descended upon Benjamin's face. We don't know each other that well, so please mind your words, Miss Adams. Otherwise, people might get the wrong idea. You. Outraged by his words, Rosetta shot Orissa a glare. Is he worried that she'll misunderstand? Benjamin, it's not like you're my only choice. Benjamin's lips curled into a mocking smile. Stop right there. Rosetta stopped abruptly just as she was leaving. Chapter 814. Despite Orissa's tug at his sleeve, Benjamin held her hand and asserted to Rosetta, I never promised you anything, Miss Adams, so why is it necessary for you to say such a thing in front of my partner? Even though he had previously considered dating Rosetta before, Benjamin had never made his thoughts known. Instead, it was the love-struck Rosetta who kept using Aaron to get close to Benjamin. Consequently, those not in the know would assume from Rosetta's words that both of them used to be in a relationship. Despite the drastic change in her expression, Rosetta had nothing to rebut with. In contrast to everyone else watching the drama unfold, Orissa looked at Benjamin, stunned. He was never in a relationship with Rosetta. Hey, Benjamin, what are you doing? Don't scare Miss Adams like that during such a joyous occasion. Come, let's drink. Worried that the situation would escalate, Kingsley quickly stood up to ease the tension. Miss Adams, don't mind Benjamin. You know how he is. Anyway, you should go on ahead and entertain your other guests. We'll take care of ourselves here. Kingsley ushered her away. Coincidentally, Aaron, who happened to be nearby, walked over. What's going on? Nothing. Nothing at all. Kingsley, trying to mend the situation, didn't dare say much. Taking in everyone's expression, Aaron ordered Rosetta with a grim look, go and entertain the other guests. Mom already has her hands full. Hurry up now, Aaron. Rosetta whined as she tried to suppress her anger. Go now. Aaron barked with a threatening look in his eyes, for he didn't want her to disgrace herself further. Only then did Rosetta leave as Aaron entertained his friends. Benjamin, please continue to enjoy yourselves. I need to tend to some relatives before coming back to drink with you guys. Benjamin simply nodded. Go on. We'll be fine here, Kingsley reassured him with a smile. Sean and Jonathan added, yes, you go ahead. You don't have to stay with us. Orissa, too, nodded at Aaron with a smile. While serving her food, Benjamin ordered, eat quickly. Once you're done, we'll be heading home. She glanced at him. Okay. As she focused on her food, Benjamin drank with the guys instead. By the time the children gave Orissa a call, she was almost done. Mommy, what time are you coming back? We're about to go home. As Gavin stared intently at her through the video call, Orissa chuckled. We're probably leaving soon too. Once you're home, you all should wash up first. Okay, Mommy, we'll be waiting for you at home, Gavin remarked before ending the call. Benjamin glanced in her direction. Let's go home now. That quick. Orissa was stunned. Benjamin cocked a brow. How much longer do you plan on waiting? The corner of Orissa's mouth twitched. This is your friend's wedding. If you don't think it's an issue, we can go anytime. Orissa, Benjamin has already shown Aaron a lot of respect. If it were anyone else, he wouldn't even attend. In fact, Aaron came to see him many times before this. Just when all of us thought that he wasn't going to come, he gave us all a pleasant surprise by turning up with you, Kingsley revealed with a smile. Taken aback by the revelation, Orissa asked Benjamin softly, is Aaron not your friend? Why doesn't he seem close to Kingsley and the others? He is. Benjamin threw her a glance before turning to the men. You lot continue drinking. I'm taking her home. I'm leaving with you too, as I want to visit Gavin and the others. Jonathan put down his cutlery and wiped the corner of his mouth. I'm leaving also. Sean, too, didn't feel like staying. Watching everyone preparing to leave, Kingsley didn't want to be left behind. Since no one is staying, I'm going too. There's no point in me eating here alone. Benjamin, with Orissa in tow, went to take his leave from Aaron. We're going off now. I wish you a blissful and happy marriage. Chapter 815. So soon. Aaron gave them a look of surprise. Yes, I have something else to attend to. Kingsley patted Aaron on the shoulder. We won't be getting in the way of your wedding night then. Anyway, remember to share your exciting stories in bed with us tomorrow. Aaron's lips twitched, while Sean and Jonathan were equally speechless. All right then, I'll walk you guys out. Aaron felt bad to see them leave. Don't worry about us. You have lots on your plate already. Bye now. As Benjamin nodded and led Orissa out, the latter, too, gave Aaron a polite nod. Subsequently, Sean and Jonathan gave Aaron their best wishes before leaving with Benjamin. Before Kingsley could go, Aaron hurriedly stopped him. Was it something my sister said? You had better ask her instead. Besides, it's not like you don't know Benjamin. You should be delighted that he even turned up, Kingsley whispered. Aaron gave Benjamin a look before shifting his attention to Orissa. How long has Benjamin known her? Why haven't I seen her before? Let me share a secret with you. Orissa is Gavin's biological mother. Smiling, Kingsley patted the shocked Aaron on his back before heading out the door. Gavin's biological mother. With that, Aaron let out a sigh as he watched the group leave. It looks like my sister doesn't stand a chance at all. While they were at the door, Benjamin and the gang left their wedding presents for Aaron before finally leaving. "Orissa, you should give these sweets we got as door gifts to the children." Kingsley collected the sweets from Sean and Jonathan before stuffing all of them, including his own, into Orissa's hands. "Thank you." Orissa received them with a grin. "Aren't you coming along?" "We are," Kingsley answered with a grin. He couldn't peel his gaze away from Orissa. She's really gorgeous and looks like a good match with Benjamin when they stand side by side. At that moment, Benjamin's eyes narrowed as if to send Kingsley a warning. "Even if you go over with us, I'm not letting you come in." "Why?" Kingsley protested. Benjamin simply snorted as he escorted Orissa into the car. Staring at the unpredictable Benjamin, Orissa reprimanded him once they got into the car. "Why did you speak to Mr. Watts that way? He will still be hurt even though he's a good friend." Benjamin gave her the side eye. "He deserves it for what happened at the dinner table." The corners of Orissa's mouth twitched. "I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose. But I've warned him many times already." Benjamin, glaring at her with his brows furrowed, snapped in a deep voice, "You're not allowed to defend him." Orissa was speechless. As a result, Sean and Jonathan gave Kingsley a sympathetic pat on his shoulders. "We're going now. You should head home by yourself." "Fuck it. I'm going, no matter what." All of a sudden, Kingsley scrambled into the back seat ahead of the others. Subsequently, Sean took the front seat, while Jonathan joined Kingsley at the back so that the bodyguard could drive. "Didn't Benjamin say that you're not allowed to enter his house? Why do you still insist on coming along?" Turning around, Sean gave Kingsley a look of amusement. Kingsley glared at him. "How would he know if you don't tell him?" The bodyguard manning the wheel was dumbfounded. After throwing the bodyguard a glance, Jonathan smirked at Kingsley. "Do you take Benjamin for a fool?" Kingsley gave him the side eye. "He's one indeed." Upon exchanging glances, Sean and Jonathan laughed. "Why don't you say that to his face? Am I wrong? If he isn't a fool, how did he manage to be tricked by Donna for so many years?" Sean and Jonathan were naturally stumped. "Hey, Jonathan, you must not let her off the hook. That despicable woman has to pay dearly for her misdeeds," Kingsley reminded Jonathan in the midst of his rant, to which the latter nodded. "I know. I have gathered all the evidence that's needed. We're just waiting for the trial to begin." Jonathan was brimming with confidence, as the case was a straightforward one. Kingsley nodded in response. "Good." As something suddenly occurred to Sean, he asked Jonathan, "Given that Donna is somehow related to Aaron's family, would she seek them out?" Chapter 816. "It's useless even if she does," Kingsley scoffed. "I'm sure you have seen for yourself Benjamin's attitude toward Rosetta today. Therefore, even if they wanted to leverage their relationship with Benjamin to get him to withdraw the lawsuit, it would be impossible. To Benjamin, the children are more important than any woman. No, wait, let me rephrase. All that matters now to him are Orissa and the 6 children. Whoever dares to bully them will suffer his wrath." Sean smiled in response, for he harbored similar thoughts. As for Jonathan, he was finally getting it after listening to Kingsley's words. Does Benjamin really not have feelings for Rosetta? Kingsley glanced at him from the corner of his eye. You bookworm, didn't you just see for yourself how furious Benjamin was after hearing Rosetta's words? Jonathan agreed after giving it some thought. I've never seen him so protective over a woman before. Looks like we were the ones who misunderstood him previously. Kingsley let out a sigh. His mind is really unpredictable. Sean and Jonathan couldn't help but feel amused. Meanwhile, inside the car in front, the unpredictable Benjamin asked Orissa, "Are you tired?" Gazing into his eyes, Orissa shook her head. Not at all. I didn't need to entertain or stand for a long time. Furthermore, all I did was eat, so why would it be tiring? Benjamin, nodding to her reply, stared intently at her pretty face. Did you manage to eat your fill? Orissa threw him a glance as she grinned. More or less. But I didn't, Benjamin remarked in a deep voice. The stunned Orissa quickly remembered that he had barely eaten any food earlier. Shall I cook you some pasta when we get home? She suggested, as it was a nutritious meal. Benjamin's brows furrowed slightly in resistance. Can you cook something else? Orissa cracked a smile that made her look so beautiful he couldn't peel his eyes away. Of course. What would you like? Benjamin maintained a passionate stare on her. Reaching out his hand, he pulled her into his embrace and planted a kiss on her. Orissa, with her eyes widened, stared at his handsome face. As the pheromones he was emitting began to fill her nose, her heart rate began to tick up. Since her wide-eyed look was quite the mood killer, Benjamin pinched her cheek. Close your eyes. Blushing all over, Orissa complied obediently. A delighted glint flashed across his eyes before Benjamin kissed her again. Eyes closed, Orissa felt as if her soul was being blown away. The moment she opened them, her lips curled slightly at the sight of Benjamin's intoxicated expression. By the time Benjamin released her, she was gasping desperately to catch her breath. Her face was flushed red, just like a bed of blooming roses. Nevertheless, Benjamin, unable to get enough of her, gave her another kiss. Orissa unexpectedly dodged him this time. My lips hurt. Benjamin frowned as he looked at the wound on her lip. Why hasn't it recovered? This is your doing. Orissa leaned into his arms and attempted to calm herself down. When he lowered his eyes and saw how submissive she was, Benjamin was, again, filled with the urge to kiss her. However, he was stopped by the sight of the wound on her lips. Fortunately, there was some medication in the car, which he helped her to apply. Remember to apply your medication diligently, Benjamin reminded her. Chuckling to herself, Orissa gave him a sly look. It will gradually recover as long as you don't kiss me. When Benjamin snorted in response, she scooted her way to the other side of the car. Incidentally, she blushed when she caught a glimpse of the driver and quickly averted her gaze by looking out the window. As Benjamin's attention remained fixed on her, his lips curled into a smile at the sight of her red cheeks. Leaning into her, he whispered, "Are you still not used to it?" His unbelievably deep and alluring voice caused her heart to skip a beat. Feeling amused, she shot the calm Benjamin a quick glance. Used to what? He pulled her into his arms and locked her in a tight embrace. Used to me kissing you. Lowering his head, he nuzzled his face against her neck and allowed himself to be intoxicated by her mesmerizing scent. Chapter 817. Orissa could feel her face flushing as she flinched. We're home. Benjamin released her after nibbling her ear. He glanced out the window and noticed they had indeed arrived. I wonder if Gavin and the others have returned. Orissa looked at the brightly lit house but had no idea if anyone was in it. Were they home when he called? Benjamin tilted his head and stared at her. Not yet. Orissa met his gaze and quickly looked away. Benjamin grinned and stroked the back of her head. Soon, the 6 children ran out of the house. Orissa was elated to see them. They're home. She quickly opened the car door while Benjamin followed right behind. The little ones ran toward her. Mommy, you're home. They were delighted to see her. Orissa embraced the children and kissed them. What time did you arrive? We just reached home, Mommy. Jasper said gleefully, aren't you supposed to be on a date with Mr. Graham? Why are you back so early? It wasn't a date. It was a wedding dinner. Orissa explained to Jasper. She then handed them the candies from the wedding dinner. Candy. Jessie clapped her hands happily. Orissa gave her a smile. You can't eat too many since you're losing your baby teeth. The little girl stuck her tongue out in response to her mother's remark. Daddy, Mr. Graham, Gavin, Tim, and Zachary looked at Benjamin and greeted him. Hey, Benjamin nodded and stroked the boys' heads. Oliver, Jasper, and Jessie, too, called him in a sweet voice, Mr. Graham. Has your great-grandaunt gone to sleep? Benjamin asked them about Mary. The 6 children shook their heads. Not yet. She was still watching a television program when we left. Benjamin arched his brows. Good to know that she's doing well. Meanwhile, Kingsley, Sean, and Jonathan had also arrived. Mr. Watts, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Patterson. Gavin greeted these men first while the other 5 children followed suit. Out of curiosity, they stared at Jonathan with their little eyes. Jonathan, too, sized the children up with a grin. Seeing the children stand in one line, he found them utterly adorable. Hi there, kids, this is Jonathan Patterson. You can call him Mr. Patterson. Benjamin introduced Jonathan to the 5 children. Hello, Mr. Patterson. Zachary was the first to greet him. The children's adorable expressions melted Jonathan's heart. He squatted down and embraced them. He could not stop himself from stroking their heads and pinching their cheeks. I didn't bring you gifts today, but I promise I will when I see you again. Here are some monetary gifts for you. Jonathan had prepared gifts for all 6 children, including Gavin. Thank you, Mr. Patterson. The 6 little ones thanked Jonathan gleefully. Seeing the smiles on the children's faces, Orissa asked politely, "That's so nice of you, Mr. Patterson. You could have just brought some candies for them. I have to since it's my first time seeing these kids. They're adorable." The stern-looking Jonathan responded with an affectionate smile. Although they were already close to the little ones, even Kingsley and Sean could not help but hug them. "Come, let's go in. I'll carry you." Each of the 2 men carried 2 children in their arms. Jonathan picked the remaining 2 children up and walked behind Kingsley and Sean. Orissa was pleased to see how these men were fond of the children. "Let's go in too." Benjamin held Orissa's hand and entered the house. Orissa hummed in response and walked in with him. Sean, Kingsley, and Jonathan continued to focus on the children. "We brought these candies back from the wedding. We haven't had the chance to taste them. Why don't you guys try them and tell us if they taste good?" Chapter 818. You've not tried the candies? The children asked. "Nope, we saved them for you." "Thank you." The men grinned. "Go on and take it. See if it tastes good." Orissa smiled and turned to Benjamin. "You keep them company. I'll get changed and prepare some food. Have you thought of what to eat? I'll come with you to see what I can eat." Benjamin raised his chin and decided to go upstairs with her. Meanwhile, Edwin came out and served the guests some fruits. "Mr. and Mrs. Graham, are you still hungry? Should I prepare some snacks for you?" "Don't worry about it. I'll prepare the food myself," Orissa responded with a smile. Edwin looked at them and bobbed his head in acknowledgement. "All right." The children only just returned, but they've had their dinner at the hospital. Orissa nodded and went upstairs to change into casual wear while Benjamin followed behind. Turning to the gorgeous man, she asked, "You want to change too?" Benjamin hummed in response and entered the bedroom. He went straight to the closet to retrieve a pair of clothes and passed them to her. "Need my help?" Orissa blushed instantly but replied in a resolute tone, "No, thank you." Benjamin arched his brows. He then changed into the clothes he picked out from the closet. Orissa's heart started racing the moment the man took off his clothes. She could not avert her gaze from his muscular body. Benjamin tilted his head and stared at her, but she immediately looked away and was ready to go elsewhere to change. "I'm done. You can change here." Benjamin buttoned his shirt and stepped out of the room. "I'll wait outside." Orissa glanced at him and was amazed at how dashing he was from every angle. "Oh, okay," she responded. After the man had left, she closed the door and started changing. Yet, after several attempts, she still could not reach the dress, zip on her back, and she eventually felt her arms aching. Orissa had no choice but to open the door and look for Benjamin. Upon noticing he was scrolling through his phone on the couch, she cleared her throat to get his attention. "Benjamin, can you do me a favor?" The man looked up and gazed steadily into her eyes. "What is it?" Embarrassment swelled in her when she saw the subtle smirk on his face. "Help me with the zip, please." "Sure, my pleasure." Benjamin got up and walked toward her. Orissa turned her back to him. Her silky smooth skin instantly caught the man's attention when he unzipped her dress. A few love bites behind her shoulders looked like flowers that had bloomed beautifully. Benjamin's eyes darkened as a passionate glint flashed across his eyes. He leaned forward and kissed her back. That sent a shiver down Orissa's spine. She held onto her gown and distanced herself from the man. Her cheeks instantly turned rosy, and she asked in embarrassment, "What are you doing?" "I couldn't help it." Benjamin raised his brows, his gaze filled with passion. Orissa's face was flushed. "Go out, please. I want to change." Benjamin pressed his palm against the door and smirked. "Shall we just stay in the room and not go downstairs?" "What are you talking about? Everyone is waiting for us." Orissa could read between the lines. She shot daggers at him and shoved him out of the room. "Wait outside." As the door gradually closed, Benjamin cleared his throat and said, "Call me again if you need my help." The corners of Arissa's mouth twitched. She quickly removed the gown, set it aside, and changed into the casual attire Benjamin had taken for her. After putting aside her gown and Benjamin's clothes, she opened the door and stepped out of the room. Benjamin looked at her and said, "Let's go down." Okay, did he not say he didn't want to go down? Despite having that question in mind, Arissa decided to keep mum. And responded with a smile. Benjamin grabbed her hand. Together, they left the room and went downstairs. While they were coming downstairs, Kingsley tilted his head to look at them and teased, "What were you guys doing upstairs? You were gone for so long." Benjamin glared at him. "Shut up." Everyone held their laughter. Chapter 819. Take a seat. With that, Arissa turned and went into the kitchen. Benjamin followed suit. "Benjamin is following Arissa everywhere now," teased Kingsley. Both Sean and Jonathan started laughing. "Kingsley, you'd better not talk too much. If not, Benjamin might throw you out," Jonathan reminded him. Sean burst out laughing. "Benjamin is in a good mood today. That's why he allowed you into his house." The 6 children looked at the adults while they talked. Zachary asked, "Uncle Kingsley, didn't my mommy eat anything at the banquet just now?" Kingsley rubbed the boy's head before answering, "She did. But your daddy didn't eat anything." Zachary widened his eyes. "So, daddy is the one who hasn't eaten yet. Mr. Patterson, did anybody bully my mommy?" Gavin asked Jonathan politely. Jonathan chuckled. "Your daddy is busy protecting your mommy. Nobody dares to bully her." Gavin eyed the adults with doubt and asked, "Are you lying to me?" Sean and Jonathan exchanged glances and answered, "We didn't lie to you." Jonathan turned around to play with Tim. Tim blushed, and the grown-ups found it amusing. Edwin was looking on. If he did not put a stop to the teasing, they would likely carry on. When Arissa saw Benjamin follow her into the kitchen, she asked him, "Have you decided what you want to eat?" Benjamin raised his brows and said, "How about some grilled meat?" Arissa took out the ingredients and started the preparation. She then took out some fruit and vegetables. Once the meat was done, she wrapped them together with the fruit and vegetables. All the while, Benjamin was with her in the kitchen, and he was watching her cook. With a smile, he asked, "Where did you learn this from?" Arissa glanced at him sideways and continued with her chore. "Don't you like it this way? All the children love to have their grilled meat like this." Benjamin looked at her and then at the food before asking, "Can I eat now?" "Go ahead." Arissa nodded. Benjamin picked up a fork and tasted the food. "Not too bad." Arissa turned and glanced at him with those sparkling eyes of hers and asked, "How is it?" "It's good." Benjamin nodded before taking the plate with him. "I'll have a piece of steak too." Arissa laughed out loud and continued to grill the meat. When the 6 children, Kingsley and the others came over, they felt hungry when they saw the food. "Mommy, can we have some?" Jessie gulped a mouthful of saliva. She wanted very much to have a taste. "Sure," replied Arissa. She put out the food on the dining table, and there was plenty of it. "Come over here, I'll give you a piece," Benjamin called out to Jessie. The little girl ran over to him with a grin on her face. Benjamin then fed her a piece of the meat. "Thank you, Mr. Graham." Jessie was pleased as her mouth was filled with food. "Do all of you want some?" Benjamin asked the boys. "We'll take this plate." With that, Jasper climbed onto the chair with eagerness and started eating from the other plate. Both Sean and Kingsley also reached to grab a piece each. So did the rest of the children. Unfortunately for Jonathan, he was too slow and did not manage to get a single bite. "Mr. Patterson, for you." Tim gave his piece to Jonathan. Jonathan was very touched, and he patted Tim's head. "Don't worry about me, you go ahead. Mr. Patterson, you can have this." "I can have this anytime." Tim pushed the piece of meat toward him. Jonathan was thrilled. "Thank you, Tim." "You're welcome." Tim gazed at him. Benjamin smiled and hollered, "Tim, come here. I'll give you some." "Mr. Graham, you haven't eaten yet. You should have it." "I'm not hungry anyway." Seeing that there was not much food left on the plate, Tim shook his head. Benjamin was very proud of the kind boy. "It's fine. Come over here and have a bite. Your mommy is making a steak for me after this." Tim glanced at everyone before walking over. Benjamin fed him a piece. Chapter 8:20. Do you like it? Asked Benjamin as he watched Tim chew his food. Tim nodded. When Tim finished, Benjamin gave him another. Thank you, Mr. Graham, said Tim happily. Benjamin then rubbed his head with fondness. Mr. Graham, are you done? Asked Oliver. Of course not, replied Benjamin as he looked at the boy. Oh, I see. Oliver was eyeing Benjamin's food. Want some? Benjamin's eyes twinkled as he smiled. Oliver adjusted his glasses before he chuckled. Benjamin fed him a piece too. Oliver grinned and said, Thank you, Mr. Graham. Mr. Graham, can I have a piece too? Jasper started to act cute toward Benjamin in the hope of some food. He blinked his eyes at him. It was an amusing sight. Sure, Benjamin gave a piece of meat to him too. He then looked at Gavin, Zachary, and Jesse. Do you guys want some more? Yes, yelled Jesse. Come over here. Benjamin fed her another piece. Both Gavin and Zachary shook their heads. Orissa popped her head out of the kitchen and asked, Sweethearts, are you guys hungry? Shall I cook some pasta for all of you? Yes, Mommy, I want pasta. Jasper got excited and ran to the door. Jesse joined him. Mommy, me too. With a smile, Orissa said gently, Got it. I'll cook the pasta in a short while. Don't take your daddy's food. He hasn't had his dinner yet. The children stuck their tongues out, and Jasper teased Orissa, Mommy doesn't love us anymore. She only cares about Mr. Graham. Orissa blushed upon hearing that. When Sean, Kingsley, and Jonathan heard what Jasper said, they broke out in laughter. Once Orissa served Benjamin his steak, she went back into the kitchen to cook the pasta. Kingsley was very thick-skinned and followed Orissa into the kitchen. Mrs. Graham, can you cook some for us as well? I didn't have my fill at the banquet just now. Is seafood pasta all right for you? Asked Orissa as she turned her head. Of course. We are okay with anything. Kingsley dared not make any request. Instead, he made his way back to his seat with a smile and found himself looking straight into Benjamin's stare. Hey, Benjamin, you can't just eat by yourself. We need to eat too. Benjamin snorted. If you are hungry, why don't you go out and have supper instead? Kingsley stated shamelessly, the supper I get outside is nothing compared to Mrs. Graham's cooking. To that, Benjamin raised his eyebrows. The compliment made him feel pleased indeed. Let me check on Orissa and see if she needs any help. With that, Sean went into the kitchen. However, not long after, Orissa chased him out. She doesn't want my help. The corners of Kingsley's mouth twitched. You're only putting on a show, and Mrs. Graham can tell. That's why she doesn't want to force you. Sean glared at him before retorting, At least I offered to help, unlike you. Jonathan admitted with a smile, Well, I will just wait for the food. My mommy is very fast at cooking pasta. She will be done in a few minutes, said Zachary proudly to the adults as he beamed with pride. Jonathan patted his head and asked, I heard you know how to cook too. Zachary nodded. Yes, all of us can cook. That's right, all of us know how to cook, said Gavin with a smile. How about Tim? Asked Jonathan gently. I do. I know how to make a salad, informed Tim as he nodded his head. All of you are great. One of these days, I must try your cooking. Jonathan was stunned to learn that those children could whip up a few dishes. Don't try to be funny, warned Benjamin. Jonathan smiled sheepishly. Seeing his children looking at him, Benjamin ended up feeding all of them a piece of his steak as well. Benjamin's appetite increased when he saw the children enjoying the food. Very soon, the father and 6 children devoured the piece of steak. Kingsley, Sean, and Jonathan had rarely witnessed such a heartwarming scene. Furthermore, they did not expect to see that loving side of Benjamin.